And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Le Card, or Le Cardo, is, according to the box, an exciting new word game. Now, you might feel like there's some strenuous objections to that, because some people might consider word games not exciting. And I have to say that while I'm certainly not opposed to playing word games, the word exciting isn't usually what comes to mind when I think of Scrabble and its ilk. But this is a game where you're putting together two words, trying to form a double-worded phrase like Dropbox or outside, compound words or words that go together. And it's done kind of in a Scrabble-ish sort of way. So let's take a look at the game and see how interesting it is. The card is made up of a deck of cards, and each of these cards shows words on all four sides, like you see case, 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 paper, 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 and the value of that. The values are from 1 to 5. In fact, paper is the only 5 in the deck. These cards are shuffled and dealt to everybody, and whoever has the highest single-valued card in their hand goes first. On your turn, the rules are a little unclear here, but on your turn, you can play down cards on your turn. I think you can use as many cards as you want, but you're putting them into a grid. So I have the word show out here, so I'll look for here and I'll say, okay, house show, and then I could put out any common compound word or hyphenated word, and then of course everyone's going to argue over whether house show is actually a word, but no one's going to argue when I put light with house there. Now, if I put one here, that's fine, but it has to match with light and with show. And or even might get to the point where there's 3 different things on the side, and it has to match with all of those. And those are going to be much more difficult to do. If you don't have any matches in your hand, well, woe betide you. You can discard up to 3 cards and draw, but you don't get to take a turn. Otherwise, you get points for every combination you put down. So let's say this was my first turn. I get 5 and 5. I would get 10 points. We keep going until nobody can play, or until, well, nobody can play. Basically, all the cards have run out. And then whoever has the highest score at that point in time is the winner. You can see the artwork on here is very minimalistic. It's not bad. The cards are colored differently depending on how many points they're worth. And I do like the fact that the word is written on all 4 sides. Although, you think they would have written it in the 4 different directions so that the people sitting around the table would be able to read it. What's the point? But that's okay. It's a minor flaw. It does seem, well, okay, I'm going to jump in my opinion here. Let me tell you. Okay, now that you're looking at me, I guess I can give my review of the game, right? Well, I guess if there's one thing, I wish there was more cards in the box. I don't know. I mean, it seems like there should be more. But I'm telling you, if there's one feature about the game that just annoyed me was that you could play as many cards as you want your turn. So someone would sit there and it was agony as they sit and say, does it go here, does it go here, does it go here, does it go here? Then they put a card down. Then a great debate breaks out over whether that's actually a word or not, and then people are looking it up on their iPhones and what have you. Now, don't get me wrong, I love a good debate as much as the next person, but man, people's terms seem to stretch out forever. And you could say, well, think about your cards in your turn, but the board would change so much. I wasn't a big fan of this game. It's okay. I didn't dislike the activity, but it just didn't feel that interesting to me. However, a few other people liked it more than I did, and some people got a kick out of, putting the different words together. I don't think that's a bad idea. I just felt like there wasn't enough variety. I had those cards, I did what I could, tried to find the best place for scoring. It just doesn't mesh together as well as I wanted to do. But hey, now that I've explained it, now that you've seen how the game works, it's not a bad deal for your money, perhaps. It's a small little production. You might be interested in it, especially if you're a wordsmith, which apparently I'm not.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.